Throughout the years, there have been several talented black women who've competed in professional BMX racing, not just here in the States, but abroad as well. Their history reaches as far back as the heyday of BMX, all the way to the modern day Olympic level racing. So let's take a look at the history of black women in professional BMX racing from then and now. Manon Valentino. Manon Valentino is a French BMX cyclist who has many accolades in the sport. She began riding BMX at the age of 10 years old with the help of her older brother, who was also a BMXer. Manon burst onto the scene in 2008 by winning the Junior Women's World Championship. She also won a silver medal in the Junior Women's Cruiser World Championship in 2008. She's a 6-time French champion, double European champion, and European champion silver medalist. She's also a World Championship medalist when she won a silver in the Elite Women's Cruiser class in 2009, and a bronze medal in the Women's Elite class in 2013.
Winner of the bronze medal from France, Manon Valentino.
But that's not it. Manon also won Supercross World Cup Series races in 2011 and 2019. And in 2020, she became the Supercross World Cup bronze medalist. She's also a 2-time Olympian and made it as far as being a finalist at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. By the age of 34, Manon has achieved great things in the sport on and off the track. She's even done modeling and was also featured in a few magazine covers. She's currently racing for Arbor 93 BMX, and she recently finished second in the BMX 2 Tours indoor race in the Elite Women's class. So be on the lookout for Manon this year at the big World Cups, World Championships, European national races, and of course the French national championship races to see where she takes it next. Axelle Etienne. Axelle is another French professional BMX racer. She started BMX racing at the age of 8, encouraged by her brother Patrick, who was already racing BMX. She was a natural at the sport and quickly joined a couple of BMX clubs in 2012. She won her first French cadet championship titles in 2013 and in 2014. In 2015, as a junior, she won almost all the major competitions in her category. During July of that year, she won gold at the French Championships, the European Championships, as well as the World Championships in Zolder. In 2017, Etienne won the French national title at the young age of 19. She also won the bronze medal at the 2019 UCI BMX World Championship. She went on to win the French World Championship in 2020, 2021, and 2024. She's also a 2-time Olympian and competed in the 2020 Summer Olympic Games in Tokyo, where she placed 7th in the women's BMX racing final. At the 2024 Paris Olympics, she placed 7th again in the finals. Qualifying for the Olympic BMX finals is no easy task, and Etienne did it twice. Axelle has a bunch of sponsors supporting her, and she'll be on the hunt to add more trophies and medals to her collection in 2025. So be sure to watch her BMX racing journey as it unfolds this year. Dominique Daniels. Dominique Daniels is an American rider who was a powerhouse in women's BMX racing during her active years. At the age of 12, Dominique's dad Tim got her a small Honda dirt bike after seeing a track in Chandler, Arizona that they used to drive past all the time.
I happened upon BMX by accident, as most people know now. I thought it was a motorcycle thing, and it wasn't, because I had gotten a motorcycle for Christmas, and I wanted to try it, and actually I wound up going to a BMX track, and that's how I really started getting exposed to it and hanging out and racing.
That started a chain of events that led Dominique to becoming a pro at age 15. Then in 2008, she became the ABA's Girl Pro Champion. In 2009, she became the ABA's National #1 Woman. And in that same year, she became the NBL Elite Women Champion. Daniels was a back-to-back National Bicycle League Elite Women's Champion in 2009 and in 2010. But what's even more amazing than that is, besides winning the NBL Championship, she also won the ABA, the UCI, and the Disney Cup in 2010. And then she turned around and did it all over again in 2011 by winning the ABA, NBL, and UCI championships, along with the Music City Cup championships. Dominique was putting in work, y'all. So by 2012, Dominique held the record for the most elite pro titles with a total of 5 titles, and she did it all consecutively for 5 years straight. Dominique was also one of the pioneering benefactors to the BMX scholarship programs, which got added to select colleges that already had cycling teams. She actually turned down a track and field scholarship at LSU for a BMX racing scholarship at GCU, which is Grand Canyon University. She went on to receive a master's degree in public health administration. She also used to tour the country with her dad doing doing BMX clinics for the youth and amateur riders after her retirement from BMX racing. Dominique Daniels had a legendary run in BMX racing, Shanaze Reade. Shanaze Reade is a legendary British BMX racer and cyclist whose prime competitive years began in 2002. Reade began racing in 1998 at the age of 10 years old. A local track operator named Bob Field, whose son also raced at the time, became her mentor. She was previously a track and field enthusiast, but apparently got bored with the 100-meter sprint and the shot put after 5 years in those sports before discovering BMX racing. Shanaze was known for her power, which she developed by racing against boys and older amateurs, including men. In 2005, she raced the national series with the men all year, despite being only 17 years old. She said in an interview that she's usually always top 3 when racing the guys. She had been racing them for 2 years and was almost the national champion, but had to settle for the number 2 spot. She goes on to say the boys in BMX are all cool, and it's really quite fun to watch when she kicks their booties. Her BMX victories at the junior level include 3 world, 8 European, and 5 British BMX championships. She won her first 2 professional races in 2006 in the girls pro class at the ABA Winter Nationals in Phoenix, Arizona. Also in 2006, she became British national number 1 in the 19 and over men's class after racing the national series with the men all year. Then she won the world championship in Brazil in August 2006 despite an earlier injury to her foot.
Basically, I just did the same as what I did every lap, kept my head kept focused, and it all came together.
Reade is also a track bike champion. In 2007, she won a gold medal with Victoria Pendleton at the UCI Track World Championship in the women's team sprint competition. It was only her second track race ever. Not only was she the first ever to win a track championship in her rookie year, she completed that feat after only 6 weeks of training. She had originally taken up the sport to keep her fit for BMX competition. In July 2007, she also became women's senior UCI BMX World Champion. Now that's never been done before. She won the UCI Track World Championship in women's team sprint, and she also won the UCI BMX World Championship, all in the same year. That's bananas. She won the UCI BMX World Championships 3 times. She's a junior gold medalist, and she's won a gold and silver medal in the elite women's time trial. Having successfully defended her crown at the 2008 World Championships, Reade was named the sole woman member of the United Kingdom's BMX Olympic team by British Cycling on July 9, 2008. She was the favorite to win the gold medal in the women's BMX racing at the 2008 Olympics. After some rough qualifying rounds during the Olympics, Shanaze made it into the finals, but unfortunately couldn't finish the race after she crashed. Shanaze did better in the 2012 London Olympics, placing second, first, and second in the 3-heat semifinals, but wound up finishing in 6th place in the final. Shanaze was one of the best in the BMX racing game during her peak years. She even won a Red Bull Hill Chasers uphill race on her BMX bike against a bunch of roadies and cross-country riders. Nowadays, Shanaze is doing her thing as a motivational speaker. She's also an active travel advocate in the West Midlands, and she's been a coach to a number of professional riders. You can also find her commentating for some of the big BMX and MTB competitions. And on top of all of that, she was inducted into the British Cycling Hall of Fame in October 2024. Miyanda Maseti. Miyanda Maseti's father brought her first bicycle when she was 4 years old as a birthday gift. She instinctively knew how to control it, so she encouraged the patriarch of the Maseti family to experiment by removing the training wheels on the same day that she got on a bike. Little did she know, 15 years later, she would be etched into sports history. After just 2 years of racing in BMX, she was selected to go to her first world championship in Rock Hill, South Carolina. That's when she started seeing that she can make something of herself in the sport. She's a South African BMX racer, a multi-time national champion, and she claimed the 6th national title when she won the African Continental Championship in 2024. With that win, she secured a place in the 2024 Summer Olympics, making her the first black woman to represent South African cycling at the Olympics.
It was a pretty hard journey because this year was my first year ever racing in elite, because last year I was still a junior. And so I had to put in so much more work to try and keep up with the people I've been idolizing since I was a kid.
She joins the ranks of fellow South African BMX pros Kyle Dodd and Sifiso Nolapo in qualifying for the Olympics. Miyanda Maseti is just getting started and has a bright future in professional BMX racing, so keep an eye out for her in 2025 as she continues to make her mark. Jamie Lilly. Jamie Lilly is one of the great trailblazing pioneers in professional women's BMX racing. Jamie got hooked on BMX at the age of 5. She was inspired by her dad Greg, who had ridden for Factory White Lightning. She's an American former professional mid-school BMX racer whose prime competitive years were from 1987 to 2004. She became one of the first female professionals of the American Bicycle Association at 15 years old. This was back in 1998 when the ABA for the first time created a female professional division in the sanctioning body's history. Lilly also became one of ABA's first national #1 pro girls. She became UCI's junior world champion in the year 2000, and in 2001 she won the UCI junior women's bronze medal at the world championship. Now going into her pro career in the NBL, she became North American International Pro Girl Champion in 2000 and NBL Super Girls Grand National Champion in 2001. Going to her professional career in ABA, she became Pro Girls World Champion in 2000, 2001, and in 2003. She was the Pro Girls Grand National Champion in 2000 and 2003. She was also ranked Pro Girl National #1 in 2000 and 2003. And in 2002, Jamie was ranked Pro Girls National #2. Lilly won more pro women races than anyone in 1999. She was ranked number 22 of Gork's top 90 BMXers of the 90s, and she was the highest money-making girl in the sport in 1999, according to Gork's top 90 list. Jamie is also ranked number 3 on the all-time overall ladies pro win list. After Jamie retired as a professional, she made it her goal to stay within the industry. She wound up working for several top industry apparel companies like Troy Lee Designs and Alpine Stars. Jamie later worked for the motocross brand Moto Nation as their marketing coordinator. Throughout her career, Lilly has made 113 pro mains with 60 wins and 87 podiums, and she's raced for some legendary BMX brands like GT, Robinson, Free Agent, Fox, Supercross, Caston, Powerlight, Boss, Auburn, and Hyper Bicycles. And to top off her incredible career, she was inducted into the BMX Hall of Fame in 2019.
This career has been amazing, and to be part of people, alumni that I've looked up to for so long, and just be included in history is fantastic.
Shanayah Howell. Shanayah Howell has been racing BMX since she was 5 years old. During her career, she became champion of Aruba in several competitions. In 2006, she won the UCI BMX World Championship in her age group. She won gold in Costa Rica in 2018 when she moved up to the women's pro elite class. Then in 2020, Shanayah was ranked number 9 in the world in the UCI BMX Women's Elite Pro class. She also is a bronze medalist of the Central American and Caribbean Games, which was held in San Salvador in 2023. All this led her to qualify to compete in the 2024 Paris Olympics. It was a monumental moment for the Aruban cycling team since it was 28 years since they've last made an appearance at the Olympics. Shanayah Howell became the first athlete from Aruba to qualify for an Olympic BMX racing event and the 4th Aruban athlete to qualify for the Olympics in a cycling discipline. She's also the first Aruban female to qualify for BMX racing at the Olympics and the first Aruban cyclist in 28 years to qualify for the Olympics. That's a lot of firsts. Unfortunately, Shanayah didn't make it out of the qualifying rounds during the Olympics, but she cemented her mark in history as a trailblazer for Aruban BMX racing and cycling as a whole. Shanayah was also the flag bearer for her country during the closing ceremony of the Olympics. She said, "It's an honor for me to have achieved this and to represent my country, Aruba. I have sacrificed a lot and worked hard since I was little for this moment." Kim Johnson. Kim Johnson is one of the trailblazing pioneers of women BMX racing. She was actually one of the first girls to compete in BMX racing. And back in those days, BMX allowed women to compete in nationals, but they weren't included in the national point ranking system. There also weren't any professional classes for women offered by any of the BMX federations back in those days. Kim went to high school with another BMX legend, Pete Lonkarovich, and she sometimes had to race him and other future male legends when there were no other women to race. And you know she was out there beating the boys. But when she did race the girls, their class was called the Powder Puff class. Now, Powder Puff was a term that came from motorcycle racing, where women's races were a halftime attraction. In the BMX world, Powder Puff was the name of the women's class, but that all eventually changed. Kim is also credited as one of the early factory girls back in the heyday of BMX racing. She rode for the legendary SC Bikes factory team and then went on to ride for the Vans team. During her time on the Vans team, she became one of the first girls to appear in the BMX print ad. She was also one of the first to appear in the Vans BMX commercial. Now that is legendary. After her time on the Vans team, Kim also rode for Howie Cohen's Kuwahara factory team. Kim also became one of the first African American BMX champions. Years after she retired, she made an appearance at the 2015 USA BMX Winter Nationals, and it would be her last appearance at a BMX National. Unfortunately, Kim passed away in May 2015 at the age of 49 due to heart complications. Today's elite women classes are a direct descendant of the Powder Puff classes of Kim's era and have helped establish women's BMX racing. That paved the way for all of the women in this list and of course the rest of the women BMX racers across the globe throughout the history of the sport. Kim Johnson is a legend in women's BMX racing history. Now I can't finish this list off without giving an honorable mention to Kittie Weston-Knauer, aka Miss Kittie. Miss Kittie is one of our great ambassadors of the sport and currently is the oldest BMX racer in the country at 76 years old. She's been racing now for 36 years. Miss Kittie advocates for the sport wherever she goes, and she's focused on helping younger, underprivileged kids get into the sport. She started racing BMX as a dare from her 10-year-old son in 1988 during a Mother's Day race when she was 40 years old.
Being a typical parent, you know, more than yeah, rah, rah, cheer, I'm saying, Max, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? You ought to be doing. How come you're not? And he finally said to his dad and me, if you think this is so easy, why don't you try it?
Miss Kittie said, growing up African American in the South in the 40s and the 50s, folks were good at telling her what she couldn't do and what she wasn't going to do. She went on to say, I got news for you. I'm going to be out there, engaging, and enjoying. When Miss Kittie started racing, there was no women's cruiser class. She was responsible for changing that by working with the sanctioning bodies and letting them know that women want to be a part of BMX racing. She finished 7th in the UCI World's Championship in the 45 and over women's cruiser class, and she's also the oldest woman to compete in the UCI World Championship.
As long as I can keep the wheels on the ground, I'm going to continue to race.
Girl, woo.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Black women BMX pros who were pioneers, trailblazers, champions, and future champions of the sport. And I'm honored and proud to give all these great women their flowers by showcasing their achievements here on sugarcane.com and on my YouTube channel. I hope these great women have inspired you to want to check out BMX racing and see what it's like and get involved with the sport. So this is Crazy Out Kane, sugarcane.com, CACTV. Make sure you like and subscribe. Got more content like this coming. And I'm also going to hop back on my bike sooner or later and get some footage of that. All right, so that's it. I'm out. Back to you, Billy.